about, 4 hours ago.
Yeah.
And man, not 4 hours ago, 4 years ago. And it was $20, but now this is like a $200 game at this point.
For audio listeners, I want to save Ryan there a little bit. Ryan got tripped up because I just made the stream go live, because apparently we weren't live recording this until just 30 seconds ago. So you got to click the button twice there, Ryan. So we're live now on youtube.com. Maybe it's a good time to jump into into whatchamacallit, garage. What are you cleaning in the garage? You can jump into that if you want to. Oh, yeah. What a mess.
Do we want? Yeah.
And then I can jump into my shelf here too.
Yeah, exactly. So, folks, oh my God, Sean.
How do we do this again?
I don't know. I thought it was live too, so I don't know what happened here. Anyways, let's clean the garage a little bit. So, folks,
I thought we were live.
If you want
I thought everybody quit on us. I'm like, man, the chat is quiet tonight. Like, I mean, I guess it's late on Friday, but like we usually get at least one person in here. Goodness gracious, what's going on?
It's all good. So, folks at home, if you want to support the things we do, of course, there's a number of awesome ways to do it. Number one, if you're watching the live stream, right meow after it's live officially, right at youtube.com/carpoolgaming. Of course, you hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed already. Of course, like the video if you like what we do, and let us know in the comments below what you think about some of the things we're showing off on our shelves right now, or some of your favorite games. Also, if you want one big podcast with the entire Carpool Gaming cinematic universe on it, head on over to our Patreon, patreon.com/Carpool Gaming. Just like Jonas Young did, he joined at the platinum tier, upgrading from gold. Also, huge thank you to ScheiGuy. Thank you, ScheiGuy, for becoming a gold member, and Nonos for joining the 7-day trial on the exclusive tier. Kyle, you're absolutely not being ignored. We love you very much. Also, if you're listening on audio feeds, of course, don't forget to rate us there. Maybe leave us a nice Apple Podcast review, and we'll go from there. Because that'd be very nice. And last but not least, of course, Extra Life happened, Sean. We have extra life games to give away tonight, by the way. That's a good thing that's happening later in the show. As well as, of course, huge thank you to everyone who's donated. We raised $8,600 at this point, Sean, last time I looked. So.
More, and in Canadian, Ryan, I think that's like $14 billion. So an absolutely astounding amount. And we talked a lot about Extra Life on the Nintendo Drive, mainly because it was me, Seth, and Amanda who were there in Rome. We could talk about it here as well too, Ryan. I'm curious on how it was for you, and I'm really happy with how the community really came together, with how everybody at Carpool just like poured their heart and soul into it. But I know you're on a roll here, so I don't want to totally interrupt. But Extra Life was like kind of a big deal. And honestly, I'm still trying to recover from it, Ryan.
Yeah. I was going to say that was kind of the end of the roll anyways, I was getting to, because I wanted you to talk about Extra Life. So first of all, thank you for jumping in there. I mean, yeah, it was awesome to watch the experience from home. I would tell you, as always, when I watch Extra Life from home, I was very jealous and kind of wish I was there. But it was really good to see everyone there. Like, also, I loved the idea that y'all had 2 cameras with the 2 different couches. So you could just get more people in the frame, because I loved everyone just hopping in and out with you guys throughout the whole weekend. Like, I think that was pretty special. And I mean, I felt bad for y'all after you told me about having to listen to ScheiGuy game all weekend, because it kind of ruined the game for you, I think. But
gone. Deleted from my Switch. In both Switches, it's totally gone. But you know what, man? Like, and you know this, Ryan, like you get all this planning in, you have all these ideas of like the games you can play and all this stuff. And it's like, you end up playing the most random things. We finished things off with like Dodgeball Academia, which came to Game Pass a little while ago. I played it on Switch. I played a ton of Family Feud on Switch as well. A little bit of Jackbox, which is, I think, maybe a staple for Extra Life. But like, we had, to your point, we had a couch and a love seat. And then right next door to us was Save the Game Media, which was great to be with them. And I think we're probably going to break this down a little bit in some Patreon exclusive stuff too. But like last year after Extra Life, it became clear to us that we needed more time together and we needed to extend that. And the fact that like Carpool people were able to come, like as far as hosts go, like that was cool. But then to see like Bowsah come, and Jonathan Brown, Miguel and Don and countless others, saw Skinny Matt and his family again. it was just the best. And to have the extra seating space and the cameras for people to feel like involved if they wanted to be, or, scoot behind the camera if they didn't really want to be on there. We wanted it to be our best yet. I think we gave away great prizes. We raised a whole lot of money. We got to spotlight the O'Neill family, I think maybe better than previous years. I think that we learned a lot from last year, and we also learned a lot from our Spider Wonder subathon that we did just a couple of weeks ago. And so for me, like, it's all the pieces really came together. I'm still not even in the place of this is what we got to do for next time. I'm still kind of like recovering from travel and sleep and just countless, endless late nights trying to make sure that Extra Life was good. And I don't know about you, but like there's so much work that goes into it that never really, I don't think it looks like a lot of work went into it, which I can't tell if like that's flattering but embarrassing all at the same time. It's like, what took me so long? What took so much time?
In a lot of ways, that's just how production works, Sean. Like when you do a production well, like that's when no one notices generally.
Yeah. Well, and we have a baseline now, I think is the main thing. And really, like I said, it came from the subathon. I think it was maybe, if anything, just like off the top of my head, maybe too complicated. Like every time somebody donated, we got to do really cool things. We got to write people's names on a banner, which we then presented to Lee Navarro, the fearless leader of the Phoenix Overdrive Extra Life team. We got to we had an honor roll going. We got to give away like handmade bobbies, which are still going to be shipped out to people, prizes from Ubisoft Canada and Xbox, and Sabotage Studio gave a ton of codes for Sea of Stars, which we'll still be drawing for. If you haven't won a code yet, by the way, if you haven't won a game yet, we're not done. We're still going to be doing some stuff. And even here on youtube.com/carpoolgaming, which is why it's super important that we went live, we've got some stuff to give away a viewer today, because Cwagmire actually won a prize that he asked us to pass along to a viewer on the show, my friend.
It's true, because he didn't want us to force him to buy an Xbox, so he wanted to give away those codes.
That close. Next time we got to get Xbox Canada to give away an Xbox. So we just make this one gigantic bundle. It's
true. It's true. You win 500 codes from ID at Xbox codes and an Xbox.
Not anymore. The thing is, I love the way that we did it. Like, not to pat ourselves on the back, but I'm going to do it, Ryan. We had 5 bundles of ID at Xbox games. That's one of the things we're going to give away later on today to a viewer. We'll let everybody pile in. I know I busted the YouTube video, so we'll wait for people to come on in here. But we're going to give away a bundle of games: Sifu, Sea of Stars, Cow the Kangaroo, Karateka. Ryan, do you know what this game is?
It's actually like a really old game, but Digital Eclipse, the maker of it, they did this like whole history piece, so it's almost like a documentary about the game that also contains the game in a lot of ways. It's really cool.
I like it. That sounds good to me. And also quick shout out to Seth, who helped me put some of these together as well, because he's like, well, this looks like kind of like a bunch of punching and beat 'em up in this bundle, so that's cool, because the last game in the mix is Skullgirl's Second Encore. Brian.
Fun fighting game.
Bunch of fun stuff there. So one lucky winner will get that, courtesy of, technically Xbox Canada first, but then Cwagmire for putting it back into the pool here for somebody to win. So
absolutely.
Pretty neat, man. Extra Life's so special though. Like, honestly, I could go on for hours and hours, and I really do come away from it just like thinking about it as a big moment for Carpool as a crew, like for all of us, and then the community just has rallied. We got Fulia in the Discord. I see you in Australia wanting to come next year, like that's the best. And so I say this anytime we have a nice get together like this, this is where the magic happens, man. We're lucky that we have such a great community, wishing each other good morning in the Discord and all the things. And then Extra Life comes along, and we're right with some of the best in Extra Life. Phoenix Overdrive is were we top 50? I think we're the 43rd in the world as part of the team.
43rd, I think, the last time I looked. I mean, that might have changed because I know a lot of people are doing their stuff this weekend, but we were pretty far up there.
Yeah, really good.
Phoenix Overdrive, $20,842 so far. That's insane. Pretty darn good, Sean.
Yeah, it's something people should, if you're able to, we'd love for you guys to come next year. And more details, I'd like to get started on that a little bit earlier. That's maybe as far into next year as I'm going to start thinking. But Extra Life was a big moment, and I think we're all just trying to come down from that, man. So, but if you want to hear me talk about more about Extra Life, we went into it a ton on the Nintendo Drive, and patrons will be hearing much more. The Patreon podcast for Patrons podcast featuring Seth this weekend, and then I'm right after that, so I'm sure I'll be having my chance to talk about this stuff. Ryan, we played D&D for the first time as well.
We've
so
also got a question about that later.
Just jump into it, man. Let's just do it. I still have stuff from my shelf.
This is more of a question from me.
Okay.
Because Nagachaka says, question for Ryan. What are your thoughts about the choices and actions Sean and Amanda made during their Extra Life D&D game? Are you disappointed or proud with their violent hashtag potions for Pete? I gotta say, I was proud of Sean.
Yeah.
The violent choices they made, especially Amanda. Very proud of Amanda for some of her choices.
Dude.
So, yes.
I've never played Dungeons and Dragons, or as I call it, D&D, I call it Dunkins and Donuts, Ryan.
Of course. I
don't even know where that came from, but
you got to roll a D20 for the first time.
Heck yes! Oh my gosh,
yeah.
What a time! I had no clue. I didn't know what all these dorks were getting around, playing this this rolly dice game.
Exactly. So we actually have that archived on the YouTube channel, and also it's on Patreon as well in audio form on the exclusive tier if you want to go hear the audio of that as well.
Super duper. Ryan, from my shelf, if I may.
Sure.
I'm just gonna do one item, and you know exactly what this is. Some people have asked me, do you have an extra Series X back there? Like what exactly is that? Ryan, this is probably one of the coolest things that Xbox.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Ever sent me. You really forgot about this? I thought you knew exactly what I was.
I forgot about that just now, but yes.
It looks like a Series X. So for audio listeners, it looks like a Series X, but it's a cover. You take the cover off, and underneath, it's a Jenga set, dude. This was the coolest thing they've ever done. I don't think there's ever been anything like it. Even the top Jenga pieces, they've got like the kind of holes, like the top of a Series X. And then on the pieces, on every one of the Jenga pieces, we can have little they're chunky. These are this isn't like a cheap set here. Like this is
actual Jenga.
This is really good. I played this with my kids. They gave us Game Pass codes.
Yeah, for every piece.
Every piece had it was a month or 3 month, or some of them were full year Game Pass codes. People are probably like looking at the camera going, "Oh, I'm going to type that code." This is long gone.
I was going to say, we gave those away on like one giant live stream where you were just like picking random pieces off, and you're like, "All right, here's your code. Figure out how long it's for." Kind of thing.
We tried so hard to get Kato to win one, like she couldn't win one. It was. Oh, that was so that's a treasured piece back there, man. There's a lot of very cool things that, of course, Xbox has been able to send us over the years. And to Eric's point, the shoes they were a gift from Xbox, which is neat. And they're my size. They actually fit me, Ryan. I could stink them up if I wanted to.
Nice.
So I just wanted to call this out. It was a very cool question. Eric Cave, just crushing it with the YouTube comments. So thank you to Eric Cave for the great question.
Absolutely. Of course, I feel bad for the video viewers because they didn't get to really see much of the stuff, but it's all good. Go listen to the audio.
Sorry, guys. My fault.
Anyways, we're 25 minutes into the show, despite the fact that we've only been live for 13 minutes. So let's drive into the playlist, Sean. Let's grab our 8 tracks, pop them in. It's time for the playlist. And Sean, as you may or may not know, I was away for the show last week. So as you would imagine, I have a lot of games.
Should I just sit back?
No, okay. I want you to talk about your games first, and then I'm going to go on my.
I don't know if I have a lot to say. Anybody who was hanging out earlier this evening was maybe hanging out at twitch.tv/carpoolgaming live, where I played a couple hours, Ryan, of the now infamous Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 campaign. Yeah. The first few missions, it's not a very long campaign, as a lot of people have heard by now, and I don't think that I'm really going to shock anybody's senses by saying this campaign is. I'm conflicted on it, Ryan. Yeah. I don't know if this is the worst thing I've ever seen, but I also don't know if I've seen enough to convince me really otherwise. There's a couple of pretty traditional Call of Duty levels, I really like the villain is always an important stop for me. I like the villain Makarov, just an absolutely sadistic psychopath Russian general who has kind of like this quiet planning, scheming kind of era about him. And I like that quite a lot. But Ryan, some of these missions are some of the worst missions I think I've ever played in a Call of Duty game.
Yeah.
One in particular, you play as like what is she? She's a pencil pusher. She's just like she's often just on the radio.
Version on
yes,
the FBI.
And then she's going like undercover in like a Russian base, and she pulls out her gun, and then they're like, wait a second, silencers aren't standard issue with the Russian military. So like, yeah, I better put that away, just to make you really feel like you're going undercover. And then you can't make eye contact or something. There's some sort of weird stealth mechanic within this mission. You just got to walk to the waypoint, but it's better if you just turn off to the side and stare at the wall instead of letting anybody see your face. Yeah. You watched me play, man. I played it. I think I died 25 times.
It was ridiculous. It was one of the most ridiculous things I'd ever seen in a game.
Awful. Absolutely terrible. One other thing that I want to you saw, but other people who weren't able to see it. Very cool moment. I won't give away exactly what's going on here, but I've got to get, before the time runs out, I've got to get to a room with a button in the room. I've got to push that button, because if I'm late, then terrible things are going to happen, Ryan. So I race to the room, I kill the guys who are in the room, and I push the button in the room, and it's like, enemies are too close. Like, what does that mean? Like, enemies are too close for me to push this button so that I like stop this horrible thing from happening. So timer runs out. I die. I start over again. I do it again. Try to clear out as many of these enemies. I try to keep the enemies far away. I get to the room. I push the button. Enemies are too close. And it seemed like something was glitched. Yeah. And then I said, and I don't know if I was right about this, but it definitely triggered it, Ryan. I said, I don't know if the game is recognizing the two guys in the room as dead enough. And so I shot them a couple more times after killing them, and that seemed to work. Then I was able to push the button, and I finished the mission. And there are dozens of things like this all over the place. The AI is a mess. The game is beautiful. So I'm conflicted, Ryan.
I loved the one brute enemy that you were fighting in that level with the button, Sean, because he just wanted to just stand outside the door and just stare.
Just stare.
The whole time. You're just popping out and shooting him and then popping back, and he's just standing there, just like looking over in the corner. Like he saw some kind of thing from space coming down or something.
How does this happen? I don't understand how this, look, I don't know anything about making video games. We've covered that many times on the show before. Yeah. But don't you have at least the basic workings of the Call of Duty games here? Like, this seems like they started over from scratch. But again, they go hard, dude. There's some very violent stuff that happens here. The story is actually decent, and maybe it's just compared to everything else about the game that's really not very good. I think the story is pretty good. The conflict is good. The bad guys are good. I like that kind of stuff. But I'm about halfway through. Maybe I don't have too much more to go, and I've only been playing for a little while. And I'm not coming down too hard. It's Call of Duty, for God's sakes. I knew what I was getting myself into here.
Yeah, and it's not like it's not like you didn't see the review scores and stuff before you started playing, so you had an idea that it might not be the best going into it. But you know what is, if you can have fun with it, then that's all that matters.
I don't know if that's the thing though.
You're right, because I think for some of the levels, the first little bit that you played, you were having fun, and it wasn't really until you got that one section of levels in the middle that totally derailed the experience for you. I know that
so much stealth. There's so much sneak around,
but it's not even good stealth. That's from the looks of it, it's not even the stealth that someone like me who likes stealth. It's all the frustrating elements of stealth that I don't like. The mission that you talked about where you can't make eye contact with people.
That was bad.
If you jump in the bed of the truck, you're recognized and they're shot instantly outside. I'm just that's all.
It was a mess. It is a mess. So I can't wait to jump into multiplayer, where honestly I don't really know the difference between most of the multiplayer suites anyway, so I'm sure that will be fine.
I've heard really good things about the multiplayer though. I hear that's the mode that makes this worth it. It's the multiplayer.
I'll keep going. I gotta say too though, the story here, the characters kind of keep moving through, and there is a through line with all these Modern Warfare games. I kind of want to go back to the first one and just these are short campaigns, so anyway, I'm spending too much time on Call of Duty, for God's sakes. It's a game
for us to talk
about.
I have it. It's a first party Xbox game now, Sean.
Not this one, Ryan.
It counts.
I guess so. Oh man.
Oh my God. Well, Sean, as you can imagine, like I said, last time we talked, I'd played a ton of games.
Mm-hmm.
I played even more games than the last time we talked.
Ryan,
when the title of the episode was "We Played All the Games." So
yeah,
we played all the games again. So first off, of course, I spoke about Alan Wake 2 the last time we talked, Sean.
Mm-hmm.
Finished Alan Wake 2. That game is incredible. Like, it was, Kevin Ainsworth talked your ear off about it last week, so I'm not going to talk your ear off about it this week because I agree with all the points that Kevin brought up last week. This instantly shot up. It's now in my personal top 3 of the year. I'm still figuring out where I'm going to position it at this point, but Alan Wake 2 is a very special game. One of the best survival horror games I played in years, and I just really enjoyed it so much more than the first game too. Because I thought the first Alan Wake was good because we talked about it a few weeks ago. I went back and revisited it and really enjoyed it more than I enjoyed it the first time. But this was just on a whole other level, both from the visuals to the storytelling to even the combat. Way better in this game versus any of Remedy's other games. Like this one's like an instant classic for me.
Better than Control?
Way better than Control, I think.
Holy, what?
Yeah, but it's also
Flashlight game.
I think it's more like my play style though, Sean, because I'm more into like something like Resident Evil 2 is way more up my alley than a game like Uncharted or Gears of War or something like that. So I think my tastes play a little into that enjoyment. But I mean, for me, this is like this is Alan Wake 2 is very much a Ryan Turford game, and I am so happy that I got it.
I feel like I'm missing out on this one, man. Here I am playing stupid Call of Duty. It's the same every year. And you know what? Ed Placencia from Married to the Game said it's one of the best games he's played in his whole life.
Yep. Yeah, I love people are seeing, Sean, the gospel that is Alan Wake 2. Seth also big fan of Alan Wake 2 as well. So yeah, we're getting people, Sean. We're going to
I think he's just repeating what you're saying. I'm not sure that he's played this game.
No, Seth's told me before he's all about Alan Wake 2 as well. So
okay. Shows what I know.
I finished Alan Wake 2, Sean. It's awesome.
Nice.
I finished Spider-Man 2 this week. Again, not on Xbox.
I'm so behind.
I really, really enjoyed Spider-Man 2 a lot.
Yeah.
I also think, similar to Alan Wake 2, big leap over the first Spider-Man, which is a game I already really enjoyed a lot. And Spider-Man 2 is so much better. So loved it. Again, I'm not going to go into it because it's a PlayStation game.
Sure.
I just want to throw it out there.
I want to play it.
I played through and finished Star Ocean, the second story R on the PlayStation. Huge shout out to our friends at Square Enix for providing a code for me, by the way. That game I talked about on RPG Cave this week, also very, very, very good as well. One of the best RPGs of the year is out there.
Okay, what else?
I then played Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2. Huge thank you to our friends over at Nickelodeon for providing a code for that. It's a really fun Super Smash Brothers game because, we liked All-Star Brawl last year, I think, or 2 years.
It was pretty fun. Yeah, a couple of years ago, I think. Yeah, it
was pretty fun, but it was a very unpolished experience. Like it felt incomplete. Whereas this just feels like the most clone, like the biggest clone of Smash I've ever seen in my entire life in all the best ways. Where I actually really enjoyed my time with All-Star Brawl 2. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Nickelodeon, the characters from Nickelodeon, but of course I love the Ninja Turtles. So I love the fact that the Ninja Turtles are in the game.
Nice.
But I just really, really had fun with this one, especially too, because when you play through the story mode, it's just like the campaign for Smash Brothers. You've got smash the targets, and you've got a bunch of different types of objectives on top of the different fights you have with, interesting and escalating different villains and stuff like that. So I think this game's pretty good. If you like Smash and you haven't checked out this game, I do think it's actually a worthy game to check out. And then the last one on the docket is RoboCop Rogue City, of course, from the thumbnail. Now, I haven't, believe me, Sean, I haven't finished this game yet. So we're not there yet because I didn't have to find.
What are you doing with all your time? Man, get with it, Ryan. Holy cow.
You have to put things in context, John. I was on a staycation for a week. So I had lots of time for games last week. But RoboCop Rogue City, of course, takes place after the second RoboCop movie. Peter Weller reprises his role as RoboCop for the first time since RoboCop 2, because he was famously not in RoboCop 3, because RoboCop 3 was certainly a movie. And of course, this game is from the developers of Terminator Resistance, which people who have listened to the show for a long time know that Ryan Turford likes that game a lot.
Yeah, it's on it. Oh my dude, I have too many games to get to. Dang it.
I know, it's almost like you almost need a tournament bracket at this point. But no, so RoboCop Rogue City is very fun. It's got some open world stuff that I'm not a huge fan of. Like I like it, but when you're in the missions themselves, I really enjoy them. I love the cutscene. I love the story that they're presenting here. It feels like you're playing a proper RoboCop 3. Like that's what it feels like to me. Where it's pretending that the RoboCop 3 movie that we actually got didn't happen, and this is actually kind of like the real RoboCop 3 in so many ways. You have a whole bunch of people also reprising their roles from the first 2 movies. You've also got kind of this new villain who's really interesting, and the combat's very fun as well. Like you as RoboCop are kind of slower than most people because you're RoboCop. He's kind of very big and heavy, but you're also kind of like a walking battle tank where you're going in the room and there's like 20 dudes and they're shooting at you, but bullets are like bouncing off you because you're RoboCop.
Yeah. You're like, what's up, fellas?
Yeah. And you've got your like really big, like semi-automatic pistol that you've got a little targeting reticle that comes up on all the enemies as you mow them all down. And this game is so fun, man. Like I am really enjoying as someone who really enjoys RoboCop. I'm really, really enjoying this. The only downside to this game is if you're not into RoboCop, if you don't like the RoboCop movies, then this game's probably not for you. Kind of in the same way I feel like, it's hard to get into an anime game like the Naruto game that's coming up if you're not into Naruto. Same kind of thing with this, where I think it'd be tough to sell this to someone who doesn't like RoboCop. But if you like RoboCop, like if you saw those movies and you're like, man, I would love to play a video game like this. This is easily the best RoboCop game.
Sort of like in the way where like you don't have to be all into Spider-Man to enjoy a Spider-Man game. Like, is that kind of what you mean by that?
Yeah.
Because it's like the references are pretty like hard. So like, okay, RoboCop kind of well known for just over the top violence, Ryan.
Yes, 100%. And you get that in this game too, where you're like punching dudes through walls and like their heads coming off. And
okay, keep going. Yeah, there's something very specific I'm looking for here, Ryan.
I don't know what you're looking for. It's specifically, Sean.
You're just taking away dude's ability to reproduce. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, shooting people in the nuts. Yes. There's even an achievement for doing it, Sean.
Oh yes. Oh my god, that is awful.
I didn't know if that's where you were going.
Isn't that what everybody thinks of when that's the first thing that comes to mind when somebody says RoboCop? Oh yeah, the movie where they shoot him in the dick.
I never really thought about that with RoboCop, but yeah, it makes sense if I'm Sean Capri. If I'm Sean Capri's brain, that makes sense. A lot more sense. But no, so I can't see says, is it like Doom? No, because it plays a lot slower than Doom. You're still like it's less combat puzzly than something like Doom is, because in a lot of ways RoboCop you're playing like an overpowered hero in RoboCop, whereas Doom, like I don't feel like you're overpowered because you're really kind of like going from enemy to enemy, kind of siphoning the your health back as you do the kill moves. Whereas it plays very differently. Like to the point where like you're using dudes as like human shields in this, and then throwing them at enemies, and then picking up computer monitors. Yeah, this is the 80s, so you've got CRT monitors and throwing them at dudes' heads, or slamming them through dudes' heads, and their heads go into the monitor. Like, oh my god, like it's very over the top in that way.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, RoboCop Rogue City. I'm not finished yet. It could fall off at the end, but I feel like this game's like the real deal. I think it's really good.
I love it, man. I love that. Like, I don't feel like anybody's talking about this game. There's so many other games, so it's nice that you're able to get through everything else too.
Well, it kind of came out at like a rough time where there is so much stuff that is out right now. So, in fact, I'm also playing something else, Sean. But I'll talk about that on next week's show. But that's taking a lot of my time.
What is it?
I will talk. You will hear about it next week.
All right. Tease it.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I want people to listen to next week's show. I want there to be a reason to come back.
I'm down. Don't let me get in your way. You do you, boo.
Oh my god, Sean. But so that's all the games I played this week, Sean. We made it through the list of games. We should probably, of course, let some of our friends into the carpool with us. It is time for the carpool. So we're gonna start with Hoppel, who says, question for next Xbox job. I think Hoppel wrote this when y'all were at Extra Life. How many achievements did Sean get from letting other people play on his Series S? Do you know? Do you have a count, Sean? How many achievements you got while you were at Extra Life?
Funny, it's one of those things that I think other people have a better count on than I do. Like, I think it was Jackbox was like really one of the only games we played.
You guys didn't really play a lot of Xbox.
No, and dude, I spent a lot of time loading up that Series S, like maximizing the potential storage, which we all know like it's limited on the Series S. I do have a 1 terabyte expansion, but I had to move a bunch of stuff around and all these things. But yeah, I feel like it was really just Jackbox is the games that we played. So I don't think it's a very big deal, Ryan. I got 100. I got 100 gamer score.
Okay.
While we were playing Jackbox.
It's not terrible.
Dude, we played Rocket League. Rocket League was a good time, man.
Yeah, but I can tell you all were enjoying that one.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So not a big deal, Hoppel.
Not a big deal. I mean, again, if y'all played more Xbox, you probably would have gotten more achievements, but close enough. But,
yep, a lot of Switch.
Yeah. Next up, we got Kevin Ainsworth, who's no longer the Muffin Mon on Discord. He's now just Kevin Ainsworth now.
Wait, what?
I know. That's the first time I saw that today, too. Also, Save the Game Media in brackets. Shout out to Save the Game.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So Kevin asks, when is the next tournament bracket? I want to know what games you're playing next.
Oh, my gosh.
Before you answer that, Sean, I will tell you that over the holiday break, I want to do another tournament bracket for me.
Yeah.
So I think that's when my next tournament bracket is happening. I wanted to share mine because I kind of want to do that again and see what licensed game someone picks out, or maybe an actual new game. Maybe that's when I actually play Jedi Survivor at some point. But Sean, I'm curious. Of course, when's the next tournament bracket? When can we expect it?
Dude, I'm a mess right now. Like, I don't know what is going on. Call of Duty right now, I've got Spider-Man on the go. I feel like Mario Wonder is a game I'm not racing to finish. I might just like have that along for a while. I just picked up Assassin's Creed Mirage for some reason. So like I kind of thought maybe if I just start to focus on new games and that limits things, but suddenly that's a list all on its own. So could be sooner rather than later. But I kind of want to wrap up Call of Duty right now. I would really like to finish Spider-Man. Yeah. I was really excited with that one. And just like, Extra Life really, I don't want to say like distracted in a bad way. It was just like, it really drew a lot of my time, energy, attention. And again, like maybe this is more of like a Patreon kind of thing I'm going to dive into, but like after Extra Life, it was just super draining in a good, it's still in a good way. Like I would do it again 1,000 times over. I just want to like go ahead and say that. But like you get home and it's like trying to get back into life and work. And there were times this week where I had time to play games and I'm just like, I just need to rest. And the need to recover way overshot, like I want to play games. Yeah. So we're in this like crazy time for games. And I'm like, and I actually had the time and I just need to pin it for a little bit.
Just need to step back a little bit.
Yeah.
Also, it's important to note too, and this is something that I think we're going to talk about pretty soon, but Game of the Year is coming up soon.
Yeah.
So like, it's also like, that's part of the reason why I'm focusing on brand new stuff where I kind of want to just get through as much stuff as I possibly can. And I'm kind of focusing, one game at a time, as much of my time as possible. Because I want to talk about a bunch of different stuff. Because earlier in the year, like I also was guilty of just not playing enough new stuff this year. And there's a lot of games I've missed. So
we've covered it well on the show. You know, all the games that we may be leaving behind as we go into 2024. Yeah. And last year people might remember I did like a cramming session, which I actually quite liked. That was really fun. At about this time of year, maybe even a little later. That's where I played Neon White. That's where I played Elden Ring. And maybe there's a few other kind of tucked in there. So I don't know if it's a tournament bracket or a cramming session. So we'll see. I've got lots of tools for these kind of moments, Ryan.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Also, Sean, it's important to note, we are less than a month away from the Game Awards. So like it's going to be like Game of the Year talk is coming very, very quickly on us. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. We'll talk about
super fun
in the future, but there we go. Next up, Court Lalonde asks the question,
Oh God,
when are you going to
another
start
one.
playing NHL 24?
Oh my gosh,
Just to
dude.
add more games to the list, Sean. NHL 24, when are you playing it? I mean,
And I want to
I've
play
already
it.
been playing it, but
No, I barely, but I think you've got more hours into it than
not
me.
much. I'm like 10 hours in, and I've kind of put it down at this point.
It's one of those games that like it feels good to play. I played it just a little bit, and I sat down and I really wanted to pick one of the modes, and it might be like so many other things. Ryan, I feel like I'm aging on a daily basis, a year at a time, because like I need Miles of Amanda's help to play Legend of Zelda, like Tears of the Kingdom. I think I'm gonna need Court's help to play and pick a mode for, or maybe you like for NHL, like. Call of Duty is all I can handle, and that game is a disaster. So, like, if it seems like I'm a bit of a mess right now, I seem to be going through a lot, my friend.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, with NHL, I mostly just play be a pro mode. I don't really play the other modes anyway.
I should just, and I just need to set it up, you know. But then there's Baldur's Gate, you know, like I got to get back to. Oh my!
The best part is I haven't played Baldur's Gate either, and I know I want to play it before Game of the Year time.
I really want to now, especially after playing Dunkin' and Donuts. Like, I kind of want to go back and jump into Baldur's Gate.
Probably gives you a whole new appreciation for that game in a lot of ways.
Oh, a different like perspective for sure. And like the character creation that Seth walked me through as well. And yeah, just getting into it. I was really scared of it because I always saw, I mentioned this when we were playing, I always saw clips of Critical Role and like these amazing performances and everybody's really into it. I'm like, I don't know if I can dive in like that. But then I did, and it was like, you feel safe with your friends. You can kind of just play around and learn it, and it was a good time.
Yeah, you just have to use your imagination. You don't have to put on a voice acting performance.
That sounds terrifying to me, though. Like that, Ryan. Like that's what. Use your imagination and go play outside are things I never wanted to hear as a kid, and it still haunts me to this day. Just use your imagination. Like, what are you talking about?
I mean, I never wanted to do the go outside thing, Sean.
Oh man, like what do you mean go outside? There's no Nintendo outside. Like I don't want to go out there. Why would I do that? Yeah, I know.
It's scary out there. The sun's out there of all things.
There's polar bears out there.
I mean, where you live, yeah. You're not wrong. All right, last question comes to us from Cwagmire, who says, when is the next Rocket League game night, and why is it Friday, November 17th? Because Cwagmire, of course, will be back home next week.
Nice. Yeah, he's so good. ScheiGuy also coming in there. I was surprised actually. I think we had like a 4v4 going there for a little while, which was a great time. That could work, I think. I think that might work. And just shout out to the Discord is a really great place for these kinds of things too. I want to encourage people to kickstart your own little game nights too. I think I mean, I've been streaming on Fridays. I do plan on doing that before. I sort of as like a warm up to this show. I think now that we're back from Extra Life, hopefully that will continue as well. But to the previous question about getting through some of these games, sometimes that Friday night time is like pretty important to be able to get through games too. So I'll try to find a balance of, maybe it's like, maybe we start a stream with some Rocket League, maybe, or maybe even not a Friday. Maybe there's other times we can do this too. So a lot of options out there.
There are other days in the week besides Friday, Sean.
It's true, but I imagine that's the day that works for Cwagmire. So I don't want to derail from there too much. But like lots of people we can arrange for things in the community. You can also in the Discord, somebody can stream it and have it just there in the room. Like it doesn't have to be on a Twitch channel or anything like that. So could be cool.
Could be cool. All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for this week's episode.
Well, speaking of Cwagmire, Ryan,
I forgot. You're right, Sean. We have to give games away. That's a thing.
We're going to do it here. Now, Cwagmire won this because he donated very generously to our Extra Life efforts. What we're going to do here, because Cwagmire actually doesn't have an Xbox, and he won so much Xbox stuff, which was amazing. But he has asked us to put it back up to a prize for someone who very likely would be able to use it. And that makes sense for us to be able to give away right here live at youtube.com/carpoolgaming. And this is the thing, Ryan, this kind of stuff could happen at any moment. Do you want to be here live if you're able to? So I'm going to type in the exclamation point winner for a randomly generated person. And if Seth wins, we're going to have to draw again because he can't go to a carpool person. So if this thing actually works, I don't know if it does. There it is. We'll find out. And Seth Sturgill is actually selected as the winner. So I'll draw again. That's actually amazing, dude. What are the chances?
It's like it was listening to you.
Yarden is the winner of the very wonderful Idea at Xbox game bundle featuring Sifu, Sea of Stars, Cow the Kangaroo, Karateka, and Skullgirls second encore, Ryan. A lot of punching, a lot of physicality there. So congratulations to Yarden. I will send you the codes, and thank you to Cwagmire for donating and winning and passing it back and paying it forward. All very cool stuff. The end, Ryan.
Congratulations, Jordan. What? Thank you for the stone cold ending, Sean. Doing the stone cold stunner of an ending, Sean. See,
and that's the bottom line, because Cwagmire said so.
I mean, we could just end the show right there, Sean. I think that's the perfect. No, before we go, Sean, plug.
There you go. I did want to plug something. What the heck was it? I had it at the top of my mind. Twitch.tv/carpoolgaming live, patreon.com/carpoolgaming. I'm on Twitter, Sean Capri, Sean like Connor, Capri like the pants. And dude, it's totally there was something cool I wanted to talk about, and it's gone.
I don't know, but all I know is you haven't had to change your name yet on Twitter.
That's true. I didn't want to mention it though.
It's true. Well, I wanted to mention it because there's still time to change that. There's still time. We're doing that till the end of the year, so you never know, Sean.
I have typed all of those codes into Yarden's DMs, so enjoy, Yarden. There you are, my friend.
Absolutely. As for me, you can find me on the old Twitter at Ryan Turford. You can find us on Twitter at Carpool Gaming, right here, youtube.com/Carpool Gaming, of course, podcast services around the globe. So for Sean Capri, I'm Ryan Turford. This has been episode 316 of the Xbox Drive, and we're out. Bye.
And that's the bottom line, because Ryan Turford said so. Bye.
No power greater than X.